Right, welcome back to myself and Jolt Cami. I'm testing my modern Pyromancer Ascension deck in the tournament practice room. I have no idea who Jolt Cami is, but he's playing BantBlade. I've seen two different blades so far, War and Peace and Fire and Ice, and a whole bunch of hexproof stuff, Geist Ascent Traft, and Troll Ascetic as well. I've seen Kasali Pride Mage and Noble Hierarch. One of those may only have been post-board. More than likely the Kasali Pride Mage. So let's see what this game brings us. So there is hand number one. This deck can keep a one-land hand, especially when you have two archive traps for that first turn fetch land. It's not going to keep this one-land hand. It comes into play tapped for one thing, and I don't really have a one casting cost cantrip. I mean, Thought Scour kind of is, but it's the kind of card that you want when you already have Pyromancer Ascension either in hand or on the board so that you can put more stuff in your yard to start activating the Ascension. In this case, we're going to have to mulligan that. I'm on the draw anyway, so a 6-card hand, less damaging than it would be on the play, and that's far better. I don't have a counterspell, but I've got instant card draw, and this seems like a better pick. So let's see what we can do. So first turn, Hallowed Fountain across the board. 2 life isn't really mattering. I've sided out all of my direct damage to get the Pyroclasms in there against this deck. A lot of 2 toughness stuff that I saw, but Pyroclasm seemed like it would be valuable. And we will not cast the Peak. We'll wait until the end of his turn for that. So Razorverge Thicket. 2 untapped lands right away. He's got Counterspell mana showing, but no threat. So I don't need to represent anything here. I can just go straight ahead and peek and see what I'm dealing with. Now this hand at first glance is absolutely terrifying. Negate, Leak, Pierce, Pierce. So he's got 4 counterspells and 2 very hard to deal with threats. I am holding a 1 Pyroclasm so I can deal with the first one, but the second one is going to cause me trouble. That said, there's no third land. So unless he rips a land off the top, he's going to be stuck countering my first few spells, and I know this now. So he can't bluff anything. So we know that it's safe to proceed. Now, I probably would have countered that peak, knowing that I didn't want him to see what was in my hand. Drawing the card as well is not pointless here for me. So, maybe Spell Pierce there would have been a good play. It's easy for me to say that because the game is over and I know what happens. So I draw another cantrip, Sleight of Hand. So I will lay the Sulphur Falls, leaving me Pyroclasm up if I need it. Well, this is where I start to get lucky. No land drop. So I draw into another card draw spell in Faithless Looting, and I'm going to play Halimar Depths, because I want to see what Faithless Looting is going to get me. Faithless Looting is going to get me bombs. I've got Leak, Leak, Repeal on top of my deck. Okay, so they're not bombs, but they're exactly what I need right now, because he's only in the position to play 1 threat a turn at most. This also means that next turn, if I do draw the Pyromancer Ascension, well, I'm not going to, I know what I'm going to draw. But when I do draw it, I know that he can only counter me once, and I know that I can hold it off. So we just put those back in the same order we see them. We could cast Sleight of Hand or Faithless Looting here, but then we tell him that we don't have a counterspell, and we don't want to do that in case he rips the land. So he doesn't rip the land, he rips a Noble Hierarch. And there it is. So that's okay. That means that my Pyroclasm is now going to get me more value. More than likely next turn he's going to play out the Geist. If he taps a land, he might try and spell pierce my Pyroclasm, which means I don't get the same value because I'm going to have to counter the Spell Pierce, although I might just be able to pay it. So we let that go and we draw. So there's our first mana leak. Nice little assortment of lands we've got in play now, and we're pretty much set to go here. So we're obviously not going to Pyroclasm away a Hierarch. It's going to take a long time for that to do anything to me. But we'll just pass the turn and see what he can do. Well, obviously here comes the Geist. Still no third land, you'll notice. And he's tapped out now. So island hits. It seems obvious that we're going to Pyroclasm here, but first let's just sleight of hand to see what we have coming. So Manamorphose to my hand, because that card makes this deck tick. It's unbelievably good. Repeal to the bottom. There is a school of thought that says I should have kept the repeal to give me the second one. I could bounce the Hierarch, and then when I loot, I can discard the second repeal, maybe, to activate the Pyroclast, to activate Pyromancer Ascension when I draw it. But I'd just rather have the Manamorphose. So there's Pyroclasm. Now, do I Faithless Loot here, or do I keep Mana Leak mana up? Well, we want him to keep that Geist in hand. But I'm greedy, so I Faithlessly Loot. I draw Vision Skines and Sulphur Falls. And here I discard Sulphur Falls, because I have the land I need, and the Repeal. Repeal in this deck more than likely isn't going to bounce anything, because all of his dangerous stuff has hexproof. As it turns out, that was the right play. So he finally rips his third land, and I'm starting to wonder if I can actually beat this Geist. Well, yes I can. There is the Pyroclasm. So we're going to first of all cast Vision Skines, draw into 2 cards, Flash Freeze and Remand. So I now have plenty of permission in hand. Manamorphose will get me the 2 mana and give me another Mana Leak, and then Pyroclasm away the Geist. So now he has nothing in hand that we know of that can damage us, but he does have a whole bunch of counter magic. He also has to discard, so he discards Sword of Fire and Ice and Spell Pierce. I don't know why he discarded the Sword of Fire and Ice. I don't really care. He probably doesn't want to be drawing cards because he knows that my plan is to Archive Trap him out. So I've drawn a Thought Scour, which is useful, as you will see in a moment. I'm going to pass the turn because I have 5 counter spells in hand, and he's still mana screwed, so he's got 4 mana. Nothing to worry about, right? Well, there's the Troll Ascetic. Is that going anywhere? Yeah, it's going right back to his hand. Now, I chose the Remand. This is going to seem obvious to a lot of you, but in case you're new and watching this, Mana Leak will counter it, Flash Freeze will counter it. Remand not only draws me a card, but it puts it back into his hand, meaning if he wants to recast it, he has to spend the next turn doing it as well. And I can just counter it then. So Remand replaces itself with an island, and he has to pass the turn. So now, more land. Play out the mountain. And again, we're going to pass the turn. I'm sitting here on... Oh, we're going to Thought Scour, apparently. Now, the Thought Scour is targeting him. I generally will do that until I find a Pyromancer Ascension, because I don't want to mill them. And I'm sure if Marshall is watching this, he's screaming at the monitor right now, telling me it's random. But hey, it works out. So I draw the Vision Skines. That's the second one in the deck. Now, I'm playing those because I don't have Visions of Beyond. I'm pretty sure that's better. So, here we untap. Let me bring up the graveyard again, just so that we can see what's in it, in case it becomes relevant. Pro tip, it'll become relevant. And he's played his fetch land. He knows that I'm on Archive Traps, so that fetch land is a liability to him, possibly. That, however, is not. I thought I was sitting pretty with 2 counterspells in hand, but Thrun goes, haha, I laugh at your counterspell. So, you mad bro hits the table, and right now I am frantically thinking, what do I have to answer Thrun the Last Troll? Correct answer is nothing, so we let it resolve. And now we're going to have to Vision Skines again. That does 2 things. It gives me 2 cards, but it's also going to put him up to 8, which means he's going to have to discard something. Probably not relevant, but if he has a good hand, it's going to make it that much easier for me to fight through. So I draw a Peak, which, unlike Gitaxian Probe, is an instant, and it lets me cast it at the end of his turn. So I've now drawn 3 cards at the end of his turn, and I see Sword of War and Peace and all of the gas, as well as another Noble Hierarch. not the gas, the counters. We knew he had all of this. We knew he had the ascetics. So the hierarch and the sword are the only things that we did.